right, ladies and gentlemen. So we have another one for you in this one. It's about Bolo Vietnam. This is Melissa Aftermath. This is Melissa Aftermath, and we have a special situation. I heard Will Rattigan say something I never expected. Will Rattigan is not playing with nobody. He is questioning everything, and I like it. Not saying I agree, but I think it's interesting for me to, you know, put this in the arsenal somewhere. Just leave it right there. Have you guys think about it? Like, I really want y'all to storm the comment section. I want you guys to storm the like button and let me know what exactly do you think about this. Seriously, let me know.
Welcome.
Thank you for having me. Hello, listeners and viewers.
Welcome back, Zara.
Well, Zara, I'll just have you know that this week I spent a great deal of time looking at two issues. I spent a great deal of time looking at the hurricane before and after, and what it means to Jamaica, and how we can provide support to our people, and how we can exert some oversight to ensure that whatever we're sending to Jamaica through the government will get delivered to the people in need and not be diverted. Because we have had a history of things being diverted. And in fact, we had Patrick on earlier. We talked about it last week about the 300 and something plus thousand US dollars that we collected in the diaspora as a result of COVID. And to date, we don't know where that money is. Over 300,000 US dollars, and we don't know where it is. So there's history of that. And, history is replete with examples of that, I'm sure. But let me just back up and say, I'm sure about that one that Patrick mentioned. So I'm trying to explain to our people that there's a connection because there's something called procurement. And it is going to happen now that they're going to issue these emergency contracts, these one-off contracts or contracts to people. And for good reason. For good reason, because truly there's an emergency. But it's connected to the Minister Tufton's situation. And I went back and I examined the whole scenario. I spent a great deal of time on it. And I think now I have the full picture. And when I say full picture, I'm not only talking about Minister Tufton, Miss McDonough, the permanent secretaries, including the one that was acting, the person who was in charge of the procurement, the commission, Public Procurement Commission, which was called the Contract Something Commission previously, the ministry, all the people in the ministry involved with this. I've looked at every single one of them and their statements. And I've also looked at the Integrity Commission. And it is my considered belief, judgment, that the Integrity Commission should be paused, should be put out of commission a little bit, just a little bit, so that people can really examine. Now I understand why some people in Parliament want to examine them. I want to examine them too, because it is my belief that they violated their own law. But that is not why you're here today. That you're not focused on that. You're focused on something else. So I'll just let you focus on what you're here to focus on. So, without further ado, Zara.
No, remember that I had actually talked through exactly what I was focused on last week, which was indeed to give Market Me different contracts in part for Jamaica Moves, which was, the face boy was Minister Tufton. And you were the one that said that you had a bunch of notes that you wanted to go through, and therefore you wanted me on the show as you went through, I thought, those notes. So for you to tell me what you have up your sleeve, I had wanted to maybe go through the section.
Say no more. Say no more, because one thing we full of around is lyrics. We full of lyrics around here, so we no shout at lyrics. Kevin.
You just bust him with Zara. You just bust him with all the way.
Pull up the Integrity Commission report. Pull up the one, the 3 or 4 page one for me, please. Zara, sit still and watch this, Zara. Sit still and watch what we have to do to them now. All right? We need not touch Minister Tufton yet, We have to touch the Integrity Commission that I believe should be paused. Them should be put in a corner and examined thoroughly. Which part of the Kev?
I see.
Oh, sorry. I see. I don't see.
Essentially, I don't agree with you.
That's fine. You're entitled to your opinion, even though it's incorrect. That's okay. Which part is that, Kevin?
I see.
I don't see. Which part is it?
Okay, I see is beside. Yeah, I see is beside Terrellang. Beside Tufton, sorry.
Oh, this one right here.
Yeah.
The 3-page document. Oh, wait there. Hold on there.
Yeah, man, it's in there. And people, let me go ahead and warn you. These two fight like siblings.
Yeah. I call her Z. Z and I, we disagree on a lot of things. We agree on some things, but we disagree and we
disagree with vehemence. I mean, if you listen to the conversation, sometimes we have you want to come in on part with, because here a while ago, I don't agree. I'm saying,
I mean, that happened. That happened.
you it, man. You it.
Oh, God.
Wait, Kevin, we can't find it, brother. This is the annual report. I don't want the annual report.
Oh, actually, that particular document is in Tufton's tab.
Oh, Tufton. All right, let me go to
Yes,
Tough.
it is actually in Tufton's tab.
All right, let me close integrity and then go to Tough. We have to, hey, Kevin, remember now we have to say Minister Tufton, we're very cool around here. All right.
Sorry, Minister Tufton, because I didn't know that was on your birth certificate. But sorry, I apologize. I respect your position.
Right, here we are. Now, you will recall on numerous occasions where you've heard that investigations conducted by the Integrity Commission cannot be discussed or won't be discussed until after the report is tabled. You've heard that. You've heard that on many programs, including this program. And the citation for that is Section 53(3) of the Integrity Commission Act of 2017. Let me show you what it says. It's right here. Dig it up. There we go. That's 50. I don't know if you can see it. Hold on. Boom. You can see that, Zara?
Yeah.
Yes? No?
Yes.
Okay, good. It says right here, under the, where it seems like I was trying to redact. Wasn't redacting, it was printed and it was colored, and then when you print black and white, this is what comes. What it says, the section is restriction on disclosure, meaning we can't talk. Now, let's go to 53(3), and you've heard it quoted so many times by different people. Here it is.
Yeah. Go ahead.
See what it says right there, 53(3)? It says, until the tabling in Parliament of a report under Section 36, and Section 36 is just a section that gives them the right to look into all kinds of things, right? It says, all matters under investigation by the Director of Investigation or any other person involved in such investigation shall be kept confidential, and no report or public statement shall be made by the Commission or any other person in relation to the initiation or conduct of an investigation under this Act. Now, the way I read this, my interpretation of this is this. Here's the key phrase. And let me just tell you that again. It is my considered judgment that this is a poorly drafted statute. I won't ask Zara to agree or disagree.
No, that I agree with.
That it's poorly drafted.
Yeah.
Okay. Now here's what it says. It says all matters under investigation by the direction. The key word here is under, meaning that it's ongoing. All matters under investigation. You can, by the Director of Investigation, that you can't talk about it. So my interpretation is that, what if the investigation is complete? What if it's finished? What do you do then? And people have interpreted that to mean, no, you still can't talk about it until this one right here, until it is tabled in Parliament. I disagree with that interpretation, because it says under investigation, meaning it's continuing. Anything that's ongoing, you can't talk about it. But once it's finished, you can talk about it. But here's what I'll do. I'll give the people who say, no, you can't talk about it until after it's tabled. I'll give them that. Forget about my interpretation. I'll say, okay, until it's tabled, until Parliament has tabled it, you can't talk about it. Now, let's go to another section right now. Here's another section right here. This is Section 54 now. It talks about the findings of the investigation, and it says, we're upon completion. And you notice the difference. This is the first one. It says under investigation, and this one says completion of investigation.
Yes, that's a very different word, yeah.
Okay. So, this is a Miss Rattigan never waste our money in our son God school, though. So, this is, let's say, it says, when it's completed and it's satisfied that reasonable grounds for suspecting that blah, 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 blah. Here's where they said, if you think that it's a breach of a code or conduct by a public official or a parliamentarian, this is what you do. In the case of a parliamentarian, you recommend it to the commission to be referred to the Speaker of the House. Right? I'm setting this up, people. I'm gonna get the details, but I'm just setting the parameters. So, if you find after you complete your investigation that a parliamentarian breached a code of conduct, then you have to refer it to the commission, and then they refer it to the Speaker of the House or the President of the Senate. What if you find that the parliamentarian broke a law? Here it is. It says, if there's an act of corruption or an offense under this act, what do? You recommend it or you refer it to the Director of Corruption Prosecution. So let's make that clear. If it's a breach of conduct, some house rules or something, then you just send it to the Speaker of the House and say, for whatever action you deemed appropriate, you want to discipline this person, it's fine, no problem. But if you find that there was an act of corruption or an offense under the Integrity Commission Act, then you have to refer it to the Director of Corruption Prosecution. All right? Now, let me see what else do I have here before we go to it. Here's what it says also. It says, where the Director of Investigation finds that the matter does not constitute an act of corruption or any wrongdoing, he shall recommend, this is the one, that the person who was the subject matter of the investigation be publicly exonerated of culpability. Right? So this is saying, if the Director of Investigation finds that the investigation was without merit, that it didn't give rise to an act of corruption or any, right here, any wrongdoing. Remember this word, any, right? Any wrongdoing. Then you have to tell the commission that we have to apologize to this person publicly, unless the person says, I don't want a public apology. And then that's fine. Now, what you're going to find is that the spin master, the man who claims that he's an expert at marketing, Mr. Tufton, that he didn't do this. How can you claim that you're exonerated? You did nothing wrong, and then you don't ask them you don't ask for an apology? Because the law says if you didn't do anything wrong, you're supposed to apologize to you. But he didn't do that. He didn't do that. No. Let me see what else is down here. And it says, it starts saying that if you work for the Integrity Commission or if you're involved with this thing, again, see the word secret and confidential. They use it loosely in Jamaica, but that's what it says right there. That if you work with that information, you can't talk about it. You can't tell anybody. Here it is right here. You know, I don't even have to read it. It basically says that if you're working with this information, you can't tell anybody. Because remember the basic rule, 53.3, until it is tabled in Parliament. Right? Now, let's go to the report itself. Kevin, where you there? Me get kick out. Kevin, they might try to stop you from doing the thing, I know people.
There. Refresh and bring you back in.
Oh, let me get up then. Go ahead. All right.
Okay. Here we go. Guys, he's been waiting for this. In.
So if you find out and you have to apologize, and we have another section saying that if the person is a parliamentarian and it's a breach of conduct, then you just refer to the speaker for action that's necessary. We have all of that. That's the base. That's the foundation we're going to work from. Now let's apply the law to the facts. Remember now, people, that one of the things we hear, I've heard it, was if you remember when the Prime Minister's 28 bank account thing came out and Nationwide spoke about it, they were saying, oh, there's a leak. How did this get out? And if you recall, with the Minister Tufton investigation, it is reported that he came out and he said something ahead of the report being tabled. And people are saying, how him get that information? Somebody's leaking. Well, I am here to tell you who the leakers are or who the leaker is. I'm here to tell you. Not only am I going to tell you, I am going to show you. I'm going to show you that you must never, after this point, never raise that point about things being leaked, except in the case where it is referred for prosecution. If it's referred and prosecution, and they're so loose with the language because they said that if a matter is referred for prosecution to the corruption prosecutor, then certain things we won't do. They didn't mention the DPP. They did not mention the DPP. Why? Because it makes absolutely no sense. But here's what I'm going to show you. Here we go. Boom, at the stage. Oh, Kevin did this, people. Kevin said that the people, and I think this is Mr. Dunstan, whatever I'm name. Somebody called Dunsbach. Somebody said Dunsbach. But here's why. This man, I think, is now in the US studying, I think, on his PhD. And I think
I sold over 200 books on Amazon last month using
by way of his statement. And this is his statement. He said, oh, Mr. Dunstan Brian, by way of his statement. And we found this one here. Envelope, you see right here, we put envelope. And I don't know how the Integrity Commission ever get it and put SIC next to it, meaning that's a mistake. But there it is, envelope. Envelope is spelled with an E at the end. This envelope means to cover. Envelope, that should be there when it says the two envelope method. That is a paper container where you put a letter in a ENVELOPE. That's envelope. ENVELOP means something completely different. And believe me, people, the reason why I point this out to you, I've seen cases where a seemingly innocuous mistake like this caused people either their freedom or cause money to be paid in a civil lawsuit. I've seen it. And this is the best that we can do right now. But here is something I'm going to show you. Stay with me. All right. So, the Integrity Commission went and they talked about the investigation, and here it is, the report that they sent. Here's the report they sent. Or here's the recommendations, and they're talking about the permanent secretary. And oh, by the way, they mentioned this, that they couldn't bring action against the permanent secretaries because here it is. Hold on a second. Where is it? Where is it, Zara?
In terms of what? Bring
The
action.
one there, they said that they couldn't bring it because they didn't have the thing from the contractor general. What do they call it? The
Requisition.
requisition. Right. Let me show you something right there. Where is it? You remember the section?
Okay. One moment. I will have to try and pull it up, okay? Because I didn't know I was...
No. If you didn't know, no, that's fine. No problem. We'll find it. It's here.
No, I'm going to get there. I'm going to get there. It's no problem. Hold on.
Okay.
Okay, I get there.
That's all right. He didn't know he was going to go there either.
I didn't know. I was gonna...
All right, here we go. The requisition stuff,
Yeah, what section?
page 77.
77?
Yeah.
Okay. One section. One
Yeah.
moment. All right, here it is, right here. All right. People, I want you to look at this. Look at the Integrity Commission. Look at what they said. They said, let me big it up here. Come on. Kevin, it's gone.
You gone?
Hold on. Right, this Kevin? It get deleted. No. The report. Is it this? I was just trying to make it bigger so that people can see. All right. See what they say right there? It says, notwithstanding the foregoing, notwithstanding all the evidence we just presented, there are certain evidentiary gaps of a technical nature.
Yep.
Which would militate against a referral to the Director of Corruption Prosecute at this time. They're saying we have some evidentiary problems that we can't really give it to the prosecutor. First of all, the gentleman who wrote this is not the prosecutor. Let the prosecutor do what the prosecutor is supposed to do. Refer it. But he said he's now playing lawyer and he's now playing prosecutor. He said, we believe that it would militate against it and therefore we're not going to do it at this time. Here's where it gets specific. More particularly, the requisition apparently issued by the Office of the Contractor General to heads of ministries, departments, and agencies requiring the submission of details of contracts issued by said entities on a quarterly basis to that office and the necessary proof of service are not available to the DI. Here's what happened, people. They're saying that the Office of the Contractor General sent out something to all the ministries, agencies, and ministries, agencies, and departments saying, if you have a contract, if you issue a contract more than a certain amount, it has to go in a database, and it's quarterly, a database that you must put that thing in. You must put that thing in, right? And they said we don't have the information that it was actually sent. So what they're saying is that we know it was sent, but we don't have proof that it was sent. No, people. First thing. Let me read something. We never bother put this up, Kevin, because I didn't know that Zara was full of fast one for me today, you know. I should have known Zara that would do it, you know. Here.
In what way?
It's all right. Hold on.
Oh, it's Zara.
By the way. All right. By the way, Zara, do you know who was the contractor general when this thing was initiated?
When what was initiated?
The requisition, the quarterly base.
Oh, I think it's the same, Christie, I think.
You're absolutely correct. It was Greg Christie. And who is Greg Christie? What position does he occupy today?
He was the executive director.
Until recently.
Yeah.
Until recently. When this issue came up, he was the executive director, I believe. He had a high-ranking position at the Integrity Commission. And I'll read you what he said to Parliament when this database was put into effect. He said, the Office of the Contractor General's QCA zero tolerance policy dictates that a failure or refusal on the part of any public body to comply with the OCG's QCA requisition results in the automatic referral of the head of the delinquent public body to the Director of Public Prosecutions for criminal prosecution under Section 29 of the Contractor General Act. No exception to the application of the policy has ever been allowed by me in the 4 years that the policy has been in force. That was the man who recently left the Integrity Commission. So when they tell me right here, people, I know a little bit about evidence. There's something called the best evidence rule, meaning that if you don't have it on paper, you can have someone come in and testify. When they tell me that it's not available, it would have been so easy for them to say, Mr. Christie, you issued this requisition. You said it before Parliament right here. So can you come in and we can, since we can't find it, which is nonsense. It's nonsense. Can you issue something like that to every ministry, agency, and department and you can't find it? But let's say we can't find it. Well, guess what? You have a live body who was responsible for issuing the requisition. So you have him come in and say, and then they ask him about this. I have the document. They have him come in and testify to this and say, but wait a minute, Mr. Christie, you testified in front of Parliament about this QCA and the consequence of not filing in a timely fashion, didn't you? Yes. First of all, you asked him, Mr. Christie, what is this? And he said, it's my statement before Parliament. Could you please read section blah, blah, blah? What does it say? So how them tell me, say, how is this pertinent? It's not available. What do you mean it's not available? That's foolishness. That's foolishness, Integrity Commission. Come on. That's foolishness. No. Let's get to the part about them leaking stuff, about stuff going out. I remember now we said,
Wow, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Will Rattigan is going in. This is very interesting. This is extremely interesting. The Integrity Commission has some chink in their armor. You can't say he's not making a good argument based off the evidence that is there. But I really want to hear what you guys have to say. Let's continue. Wow. Ooh-wee. Lord of mercy. This one about.
said that Minister Tufton, I believe, made some statements or statements were made on his behalf about the investigation, right? No. Here is something that you would never see in the FBI. You would never see this. Okay, let me hide it a bit. Let me take it off a bit before we get into this. When you investigate somebody as a subject of an investigation, you never bring the person in and say, let me tell you what we found out about you. This is after this is when you complete your investigation. The only time you do that is when there's something called a proffer session. And what that means is that you got so much goods on the person that you say, listen, it's better for you to plead guilty and become and provide assistance to the government to go after the co-conspirators. So you bring the person in and you say, okay, tell us now what's going on. That's the only time you do that. And you bring that in when you're going to use it as a hammer against the person. You don't bring the person in and just talk to the person and just tell them, oh, this is what we did and blah, blah, blah. Here's what happened. All of you concerned about leaking, take a look at this.
Are you going to the section where he
Here it is. You see what it says right in the report? Post-investigative action, meaning after the investigation over, this is what we do. Oh, sorry. Oh, sorry. I get too carried away. All right, see that, people? You see what it says? Post-investigation action, meaning this is after the investigation is over. They're saying this is what we did. What did they do? Look at that. The very first sentence, people. Very first sentence. It says, as part of the commission's policy, not as part of the Integrity Commission's law. Policy. Law trumps policy. Every day of the week. Right? Because guess what? One person can't change policy, no one person can't change law. It take a parliament, it take the attorney general, it take parliament, senate, house of representative, governor general, and the minister to create law and to make the law effective. Because without the minister signing off on an effective date, that is no law. And if a law is not in effect, it's not law. And Zara,
this is your brain when you're.
But here is what it says right here. It says, as part of the Commission's policy, to do what? To share the findings and recommendations of the Director of Investigation with persons in respect of whom adverse findings are made during the course of an investigation. People, how you can share information with people who you have adverse findings against. What you say is that them people are not innocent. Adverse findings means you're not innocent. It means we found something dirty on you, right? and you go and sit and you share it with them. And look on the exception. It says, except for matters referred to the Director of Corruption Prosecution. Didn't say DPP. They know about the DPP. They didn't put that language in there. And look what follows. The DI invited the following persons to a meeting with whom the findings and recommendations made herein, meaning everything what you see inside, that's what we have as findings and recommendations, we shared it with them. Here it is right there, in a blue. There it is. And who did they share it with? Look on the first name. The Honorable Christopher Tufton.
Yeah.
Now keep in mind, this was before it went to Parliament. Before it went to Parliament. Look on the next one. Dunstan Bryan. The man who I have some serious problems with some of the things that he did. He should have been prosecuted under what Mr. Christie said. Because guess what? There was a huge contract for 38 million that him claimed him never knows it never gone in the database. And it was his job to get it in the database. Mr. Errol Green, who I believe is still the permanent secretary. And then look on the last one, Miss Lindsay McDonough. That's the lady that Mr. Tufton, that both Mr. Tufton and this lady agreed that they have a friendship. Right? And look at look people, I can't make this up. If I'm tell me to make this up, I could make it up. Look at this. The aforementioned individuals, meaning the 4 people we just mentioned, were given an opportunity to respond to the findings orally and in writing. Where you ever hear something like this? You find that they did something wrong, and then you tell them about your findings, you tell them about the recommendations, and then you say, oh, by the way, if you feel like you don't want to give you a statement, give you a statement. No, people, you know what's going to happen when you do that? You're going to get what we call in America exculpatory statements, meaning that the people are going to tell you, say, you're wrong. Your investigation, wrong. Everything that you did was wrong. That's what you're going to get. You don't give them a chance to come and say that. And then, to make it worse, look what the nincompoops over at the Integrity Commission did. Then attach it to the report as appendices. Then make the people them go write stuff. And then make the people them go write things and I say, you guys are wrong, Integrity Commission. And look here, people. If you don't think I lie, me I lie. The first one was from who? Dunstan. Mr. Dunstan Bryan, former permanent secretary. And when him do, him write a 4-page document. And look what him say. Look what him say right here. In a green. Thank you, Kevin, for the green. Him say, you know what I'm saying? Him say, firstly, let me thank the Integrity Commission for the opportunity to share in the findings of the report before they are submitted to Parliament and made public. Look on that. 53, 54, 56 people. I know me write this. This is Mr. Dunstan saying, thank you for sharing it with me before you give it to Parliament and before you give it to the public. You can't make this up. You cannot make this up. And him spent 4 pages going through that. And hey, by the way, I've read it. And I'm telling you right now, when right also is pure, unadulterated nonsense. Pure unadulterated nonsense. So people think about it no. Then tell them people before it go to Parliament and the public. So what do you think is gonna happen now? You think them just gonna say we're not talking about it? Them never give them like one of them non-disclosure agreements saying you cannot talk about this after you've heard it. Them never give them that. So they have the freedom to go out and talk to whoever them really want to talk to. And I believe that is exactly what happened. Because how else would the media know about this report here? Maybe there are other ways they could have known about it, but certainly this way was one of the ways that they found out about it.
Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, listen, I know that, Mr. Will Rattigan, he's very detailed. So listen, you guys want to watch the entire thing? I think that's enough. Melissa Aftermath Diaspora, a lot of things are said over there. Make sure y'all go check it out. Make sure y'all go sub up to Mr. Will Rattigan, of course. Like and share the video. Alright. His critique of the IC, for me, it's on point. Yeah, I never knew that. I never looked into that. That policy versus law, that's super important. They need to change that. It should be a law. And then he made an excellent point at the end. Why not a disclosure agreement? So if we want to find out more than likely where the leak is coming from, if that type of situation, how are you going to have the persons you're investigating see the report before it is tabled in Parliament? They are going to go to Nationwide and all these places and all these other social, and that's how it happens. It appears. Excellent argument. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Mr. Will Rattigan with another gem in terms of looking at, as a lawyer, you know it is, right? They go deep into the language and all of that. The Integrity Commission, man. I love the Integrity Commission, but we have to remember that it's politicians that table that act, and there's some tweaks that is necessary there to make sure. But can we expect the politicians to hold themselves accountable? This bunch, where in terms of Andrew Holness, I don't know. And then we have a situation now with Hurricane Melissa, where it is quite possible that these said politicians will see all this money coming in and lick their chops and steal it. It's quite possible. Quite possible. I don't trust them. So, very interesting, very interesting. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section, all right?